Hi everyone. I welcome you all for your strategic analysis class. And today the topic that we are going to discuss is generic strategies. But before we start, I'll just quickly introduce myself since many of you are new and since I've taken your introduction, now it's time for me to introduce myself. I'm Dr. Abhilasha. I have very recently joined SOL and I've completed my PhD from IIT Delhi. I have done my MBA from Indian Institute of Management Raipur, that is IIM Raipur. I'm a computer engineer from NSIT and I have done another master's in philosophy from Delhi University. So I'll be your faculty and I would have expected if you guys would have attended the previous class, but just give me a thumbs up if you'll be there in the next class as well, right? Perfect. So what do you understand by generic strategies? Okay, so before we start this, let's just quickly, do a quick recap of what we have done earlier. So earlier what we have done is, if you attended the class, we studied about competitive advantage, how it is possible for an organization to gain competitive advantage, how does core competency for any organization helps it, how can we sustain the core competency. So for hello. It's very distracting, if you guys talk. So yeah, to sustain the competitive advantage, to sustain the core competency, innovations are required. What are innovations? To be up in the game as per the market, right? The next thing was, what can be the barriers for competencies? It could be that you're not willing to change according to the market. The market is changing frequently, but you stick to your core competency. Any example that you guys can come up with, some company that didn't bother to change as per the times and is nowhere today. I'll give you one example, you will give me another example, right? Kodak, they were cameras, they didn't live up to the changing markets. It was all digitalized, but they still stuck to the roles. Where are they today? Nowhere. I'll give you another example. Then another example is of Nokia phones. There was an era where everyone was having this phone and they thought that they are indisputable, they are unbeatable, they are invincible, no other organization can come and replace them. But we know where they are today, right? So this is what we have done in the previous class. In today's class, we'll be reading about generic strategy. So generic word, if someone can tell me, what do you understand by generic? We've heard this term, right? We heard this term when it comes to medicines. So what do you understand by generic?
Locally made.
I'm sorry?
Locally made.
One by one, please. Yeah. It'll be great if you guys can raise your hand and then You want to say something?
Generation.
No. Anyone else want to try? What do you understand by generic? Yes?
There is something called generic and patented.
Right. So when it comes to, so he's kind of close. When it comes to pharmaceutical, let's break this word. When we talk about generic, कुछ general से कुछ rhythm कुछ match हो रहा है? General, generic. So see, हम जो भी concepts हम strategy में पढ़ेंगे, these will be, helpful to you when you will be in the corporate world. How many of you have a work experience here? We have a good strength, right? So probably you guys will be able to understand and correlate to what I'm talking, but I'm sure there are many students. What I'll try to do is, I'll try to maintain a fine balance so that people who do not have a work experience and those who have, they'll be able to understand whatever I'll be teaching, right? So when I talk about generic strategies, it means that when businesses come up with certain strategies according to the resources that they have, according to the market structure, and what is the main reason for that is probably to increase their profits, to increase their sales, so on and so forth. So what is its importance in businesses? Why is it important? Why do you think that we need strategies? Why do we need strategies? Especially generic strategies, because these can be applied to wide range of industries. Why do we need? You can read and tell me. What do you understand by that? What is the importance? That was very generic. Let's be a little more focused. Right. To plan. What are the targets? Where do we see ourselves? The way I asked you guys, where do you see yourself in 5 years? The companies also have their vision, and according to that, they have their missions so that they can achieve those goals, right? So when they have any strategy for that matter, even if in our daily usage, if we have certain strategy, if we are in exam, we divide our day. This is how I'm going to plan my day, this is how I'm going to study, this is what my resources would be. Similarly, organizations also do the same. So strategies help them to make the decisions, right? Decisions to excel. Then strategies help them to gain the competitive advantage. How does competitive advantage help? It helps when it comes to, when you have your competitors and you want to excel in according to them. Then focus. Even if you're making the strategies, you need to be highly focused that what are your plans? What do you want to achieve? And when you have a generic strategy which is focused, for example, a focus could be probably you want to target a tier 3 city and your aim is not to target tier 1 or tier 2. So that would be a very focused strategy that they are looking forward to. Then adaptability. Adaptability means that they are in accordance to the ecosystem, the business ecosystem which is existing in the market, and they make their strategies according to that. Right? So it will be more clear because I will be adding a lot more examples. So now we will study what are cost-based versus differentiation-based strategies. So what do you understand by cost-based strategy and differentiation-based strategy? Have you guys read this in marketing by any chances? Any idea? What could be a cost-based strategy?
Selling some products in a very limited quantity but with a higher price, and selling out the same type of product but with a more, let's say, scalable option with a lesser price.
The other one. So when we talk, anybody else wants to share something, what they understand by cost-based and differentiation-based strategies? Okay. See, I want the class to be, let's communicate, right? Let's be very interactive. You are the future leaders and it will be great if you guys can interact, right? Okay, you two. Hello. You, come. Sit here. Please sit. Right. So, as this gentleman rightly said, the cost-based strategy means when we are focusing on a product which is lower at cost and we are talking about the volumes. Differentiation means that the cost of the product is not something that is, it is targeted to a high net worth individuals, people who can afford luxury, people who can afford or who can spend an extra amount to get a certain differentiated product, right? So when I talk about cost-based strategy, it means that all the services or the product are available at a lower cost. These products are generally probably a soap, maybe a Lux or a Synthol or some soap, right, which is very general, which is available everywhere. But when we talk about a differentiation product, a differentiation strategy, it means that we are customizing. Has anyone ever been to Gurgaon? Have you seen there is this store, probably probably men would have seen that store, which is Big Boys Toys, if you've seen those. It's all cars, it's all the customized cars, right? People are willing to pay an extra amount for that. That is their differentiation strategy. Already the cars which are laid there, they're already pretty expensive, they are worth crores, but just to have the differentiation, people are going there and getting probably a fancy alloy wheels, probably a different color, maybe the interiors are getting different, they are getting the upholstery different, probably the seats, the leathers that they have got, they are replacing them, so on and so forth, right? Okay guys, these are the slides that I'll be sharing. So, but you please note down certain points so that when we'll be studying case studies, it will come really handy at that time. So, but you know, when we talk about a cost based, here our target market is people who are very cost sensitive, right? They are not willing to pay an extra amount. They have a limited budget probably, or they think, you know, it is generally on the products which are day-to-day products rather than the products which are, you know, like for example, a handbag. How many of you know that there is an organization, there's a company called Louis Vuitton and they make the bags, you know, right? What is so peculiar about that organization, about that company? Their handbags are worth lakhs, but what is their differentiation strategy is? They will never put their bags on sale, never. They will destroy the bag, they typically burn their bags, but they will never ever put their bags on sale. Why? So that they can have a differentiation from the rest of the market. Because if they will be putting it on sale, according to them, their brand image will be maligned, right? Got it? But when it comes to a cost-based strategy, for example, how many of you have been to Big Bazaar? Big Bazaar, yeah? Big Bazaar and Krishna 37 and the similar stores, right? So what happens in these stores are that, let's have this discussion, yes. What are you talking to about Krishna 37 store? Yes. You've been to the store? Have you been to a Big Bazaar store? Let's discuss with the class. Please stand up. हाँ आप सबको बताओ, please share it with the class. I have already mentioned it will be an interactive class. कोई सब ऐसे ऐसे कोई बात नहीं करेगा, ऐसे करेंगे. ठीक, चलो, stand up. सुनो क्लास में मैं क्या बोल रही हूँ. So when I am talking about a big bazaar, so you've seen there are certain things, you know, you buy 3, get 2 free, buy 5, get 5 free. You will not find these things at a kirana store, but you will find these offers at the stores like Big Bazaar and Reliance and so on and so forth. Why? Because they are buying it in bulk, they are buying it in volumes. They are targeting you people who are cost sensitive. They are targeting a person like me who's very cost sensitive. I don't want to spend an extra penny. Rather, I would want, if I'm paying somebody $100, I want an ROI of probably $150, right? We all have that tendency that whatever money that we are spending, we want to get anything extra, right? So when I talk about these stores, they have cost-based strategies. They have the cost leaderships. Why? Because if we are going there, generally we go there once in a month, we buy all our stock, we stock it up for a month, and there we get better offers rather than going to a normal kirana store. People often try to go there and get good deals. Similarly, when I talk about differentiation based strategy, as I already mentioned, about that body shop, that store where they, what do we call? They modify the cars, right? They modify the cars. Similarly, differentiation based strategy means a company like a BMW, a company like an Apple, when they make their products which are differentiated from other products and they give a markup on them. People are willing to spend an extra amount on that, right? So why, you know, when, silent kar leti, 1 second. So now we'll talk about that cost-based and differentiation-based strategy with respect to the Indian market. So, so now can somebody tell me what is cost-based strategy that we have just studied?
It's about the
We are just trying to keep our prices as low as possible. But that doesn't mean that we'll be in a loss. We have to take care of the operations, we have to take care of the overhead expenses. For instance, if sir has a startup and if he is into the manufacturing of perfumes, he will have, he will have the employees, he has to pay them their salaries, but at the same time, he has to ensure that he gets his profits as well to run the business. Yes, please. Perfect. What's your name? Thank you. See, I want all of you to think when you were at the class, you know. I'm sure after the class gets over, nobody is really into, you know, going through probably with me. So boat is, yeah, it's a very good example. Boat has totally, you know, it has stunned the market. I think, if I'm not wrong, you get the AirPods for what, 800, 900 bucks if I'm not wrong, and they're of very good quality, right? And now many people are using it. Probably earlier people couldn't even think of buying such products, and they are like really good products, right? Thank you, ma'am, for this example. Now, any other example that you guys can come up with when we talk about cost based? Boat ek ho gaya. Jio is one. They have disrupted the market. I don't know how many of you have seen that era, because I have seen that era when we used to use 1 GB for an entire month. When we used to pay such high amount, and now Airtel or Vodafone, everyone has, you know, Jio has disrupted the market. Here they have the cost leadership, right? What they have done, now we can get 1.5 GB data on a daily basis. Earlier it used to be a 1 GB for an entire month, and one has to be very crucial about using it, you know, very judiciously we are using. And there was also a time when if you had to make a call to someone, you'll be like, okay, like 59 seconds se pehle we have to just disconnect it. Because if it will be a 1 minute, 1 second, you will be charged for the entire 1 minute. Earlier even the SMS had, we used to pay for the SMS, right? Then there were things that, you know, 100 rupees recharge, you get 100 SMS free, and so on and so forth. So I don't know how many of you can relate to those times, but I have lived those times. So now differentiation based strategy, the other example is, how many of you know about the Tata Jaguar, Land Rover cars, right? So Land Rover के कौन से 3 variants आते हैं, guys? Defender, right? And Discovery, Range Rover. Who are their target markets? Whom are they targeting? Are they targeting me? No. They're not targeting me. They are targeting people, yeah.
People who already have their own car collection, and they are targeting people who can keep their vehicles.
Right. And the differentiation part, they want it to be customized. And as ma'am rightly said, the Apple iPhones that people use, they are also one sort of a product which has a differentiation, right? But what are the risks and challenges? What could be the possible risks? If I'm like really lowering my cost, what are the risks for my company? See, when we are sitting here, we have to think like entrepreneurs. We have to think like that we have our own business. Don't think like, you know, that we will be an employee in some organization. Think like that we have our own business. Sir, अगर आप अपने किसी product का price बहुत low कर देते हैं, what would be the problem? What would be the risk? Yeah, you, yeah. Correct. One thing is that if you are lowering down your cost, quite possible that you're compromising with the quality, right? And what is the other thing that can happen? You know, when you are taking care of the cost, you have to be very vigilant about the market, because market is not running as per your business. Your business is running as per the market. What if there is some change, some government regulations or something on those lines, and suddenly there are tax increase, suddenly there is some GST increase or something, then how will you maintain your cost? Then it will be a problem, right? So one of the key risks and the challenge that comes is to maintain that. We have these dairy milk chocolates, right? वो 5 रुपए की 10 रुपए की वो अभी भी उसी रेट पे they are selling. See how they started, right? So how they started was, it's very distracting, it's very distracting if you talk in the class. So what did they do? Sorry? Parle G. Unka kya size there? Because obviously they have to stay in the market, right? They just can't be selling at what they were selling 20 years ago. They need to make the profits. They have employees to pay. There is an economy which is going, there is a GDP which is there's an inflation. They have to add everything in that. So when I was talking about the chocolates, what they did? They had this chocolate and very marginally, very significantly and very marginally, the taste was different, but that we couldn't understand. They have probably, changed the cocoa that they were using. They were still selling 5 rupee or 10 rupee for a 20 gram or for a 25 gram, but they made slight difference just to keep up in the market. Because if they would have increased their prices, they have other competitors in the market who are just ready, probably a Nestle, Kit Kat, we all know that there's a chocolate, which is Kit Kat, and then there are people to sabotage. Everybody is trying to gain the market share, right?
Same as with soft drink also, like Coca-Cola, and if we are purchasing a bottle, so different taste with bottle and can.
But yeah, not really. But maybe because the CO2 that they fill and all, probably that is one of the difference. But yes, even in that, if you buy a bigger bottle of a Coke or a Pepsi, it is at a lower price comparatively. But if you buy a smaller variant, it is of a higher price. Then what are the risks and challenges as per differentiation based strategy? If you are making a product too customized for the audience or too customized, what will be the problem?
And the costing also. The costing, because of the customizations, we have to make sure that our machinery or whatever we are producing is up to the standards of the company.
Right.
And also marrying with the needs of the customer. So that is a little bit problem.
If you could read this, what I have written, is it legible? Risk of changing customer perception. See, for example, today I have made this product, I have made a phone which is loved by everyone. So I have made my operations, my manufacturing unit, my technicians, everyone who are making this product. Suddenly, some bug enters that phone and now those phones are no longer in use. But since my entire setup is according to that one particular model or phone, everything will go down the drain. So when you're too much into, focused and too much into a differentiation based strategy, this is one of the risks, that it might lead to a very higher cost and it might lead to a lot of, losses, right? Then higher operational costs, as we have already mentioned, that अगर आप किसी niche product को बनाने के लिए आप एक supply chain करते हैं या कुछ करते हैं, for example, you know this car Toyota?
Yes, ma'am.
Toyota के variants बताओ कौन कौन से cars आते हैं उसके? अभी girls बताएंगे. Toyota के कौन कौन से cars आते हैं? ठीक है, so there's, I think you might have noticed Innova आती है उसकी car, right? So why is Toyota so famous? Toyota is one company which is famous for that their safety standards are really high. They have very high safety standards and their cars are like really robust. What they've done is they have an entire operations which helps them to have the manufacturing of these cars very seamlessly. Everything is around, their entire inventory is according to it, and they have very limited variants, but they are phenomenally good. But what if there is some change in some country that, we can't let this particular model come to our country? Then what will happen? There will be a lot of operational costs that will be involved, and probably they will bear a lot of loss, right? So now we will study about cost leadership and focus, in which we will be combining strategies for competitive advantage. So what is competitive advantage? I just started this in the beginning of the class.
When we have a competitive advantage, we have a differentiation which makes us take lead over the competitor. We can have a pricing strategy.
Copying our product.
Correct. Ma'am, what is your competitive advantage over your friend? What are you good at that probably he is not? That's okay. See, whatever we're going to study, we'll study at a very micro level so that it is easy for us to understand, right? Probably, you know, you are probably good at making presentations, probably you are a good orator, but quite possible that your friend is very good at giving you the content. So that is his competitive advantage. Yours is to make a good presentation and to have good oratory skills. That is your competitive advantage. We all have one, right? Everyone has something unique in them. So this is what, when we extrapolate the same thing, it is with respect to the companies, it is with respect to the organizations. They also have certain competitive advantage, right? So when I talk about cost leadership, have you heard about this product? There is this detergent, ghadi.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Do you know why is this particular detergent so famous? And where is it generally available? Do you know where it is available?
First thing is affordability and the cheapest size of the.
Right. So if you know, this is one brand which is from Kanpur, right? And they have done phenomenally well. If you'll go to, you know, if any one of you have a background, if you have a village or somewhere, you will find, you will not get Surf Excel and, you know, Rain and all these all. आपको ना वो बट्टे मिलेंगे वो brown color के जो आलू जैसे. Or you'll get the detergent also, you will find some fancy name detergent. You will not find, हाँ, ठीक है, हाँ, so you will not find Rain or Surf Excel or Ariel. It is like people are clueless about those products. Why? Because in tier 2 and tier 3 places in the rural areas, probably their supply chain is not that robust, but there these companies have made it very niche. So when I talk about cost leadership and focus, means we were combining two strategies here. The one is we will keep the cost low. Focus means we will target a certain TG. You understand what a TG is? Target group, right? कि हमें we are not targeting tier 1 cities. हमें अपना product दिल्ली में नहीं बेचना है, हमें मुंबई में नहीं बेचना है. We have to sell this product in probably in villages, in rural areas, because there also you will, right. So how does it help? As I had already mentioned, then we can have a very focused strategy. We know this is our market, we know this is our target audience. Then our resource utilization is really efficient, because you know, when your end goal is clear, you will make things accordingly, right? You will work according to that. You will direct all your resources to cater to that particular target group. Then the other thing is that when you are, you know, too focused, you will have a better understanding of your customer, that what exactly your customer wants, right? So this is another thing that when we talk, so you will know what the segment is, you will understand their preferences, you will understand their needs, so on and so forth. So then what is the benefits of a focused cost leadership strategy?
Competitive advantage.
And?
Customer satisfaction.
If we are talking about the ghadis, they are divided the two parts, and they are making a one product like a washing machine, like they using on the detergent. They complete it with Surf Excel and Rain also. One segment in for rural area. So what is the difference between cost leadership between two parts?
See, you know, there is this company, Unilever,
Yes, ma'am.
right? They have these shampoos and, you know, but have you seen they have the very high-end shampoos also, which is like a 1 liter is for 1500 rupees or maybe 2000 rupees, and they also have a shampoo which is probably a 450 ml or 500 ml for a very less price, maybe for 200 and 250. Why are they having it like that? Because they are aiming to get as much market share as possible, right? So as you rightly said, अभी आपने देखा एक नया ad चल रहा है, I think Surf Excel का, there is a little boy with a grandmother and he is running after her with a 10 rupee note and then he falls and then she says कि अच्छा 10 रुपये में we'll get this Surf Excel and your clothes will be clean. So rather than what they do is, rather than reducing their price, they find small SKUs.
Yes, ma'am.
What are SKUs?
Stock keeping unit.
So SKUs are stock keeping units. What they do is they probably don't reduce the price. What they do is they come up with a smaller packaging so that it reaches to, because अगर आप कभी गांव में जाओगे ना, आप देखोगे वहाँ पे खुला भी पाउडर मिलता है.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
मतलब आपके पास जो किराना स्टोर का ओनर होगा, he will have a 5 किलो का सर्फ एक्सेल और समथिंग और घड़ी, वो आपको आप बोलते हो उसे 10 रुपये का दे दो, वो आपको दे देता है, वो अखबार में काट के और उसमें पाउडर भर के ये ले जाओ, राइट? Because they understand that the audience, the TG which is in a rural background, their purchasing power is not that high that they can buy a 1 kg washing powder or a 2 kg washing powder in one go. So what they do is 10 रुपये का दे दो, 5 रुपये का दे दो, ठीक है? So this is how these are certain benefits when it is about focus, cost, leadership. Operational efficiency we have already mentioned. Then we get the market expertise as well. But what are the risks?
And like you said, if the market just suddenly shifted, that product will be of almost no use because the customer has shifted to another product now. That customization which you have created for that TG has shifted to another product.
Right.
So that all of your resources will go to waste.
It takes time to adapt with the change.
Correct.
Whatever has come.
अगर कुछ भी मार्केट में चेंज हुआ या कुछ भी, because you can't change your strategy, that quickly, because a lot of cost is involved there, right? When I talk about imitation by competitors, अभी घड़ी है, एक फेना आ गया product, right? We live in a democratic country, anyone can have their own business. Then what will you do? What if they are offering something which is at a much lower price, right? Because probably they are taking care, they are efficient in their operations, their supply chain is good, their logistics are very robust, then what will you do accordingly, right? Then limited growth opportunity. आप अगर एक पर्टिकुलर एरिया या एक डिस्ट्रिक्ट कोई आप केटर कर रहे हैं, वहीं पे ही आप अपने ऑपरेशंस लिमिटेड रख रहे हैं, then obviously your growth will also be limited, right? There'll be a limited TG that you'll have, and the chances of having a higher growth, probably getting higher profits are limited, right? So how many of you have traveled in Indian Railways? कोई है जो कभी नहीं गया? आप नहीं गए हो? आप नहीं गए हो? कई बार गए हो ना? कोई है जो नहीं गया है कभी? Right? So what is so unique about Indian Railways?
And they are the leader monopoly. They are the monopoly.
So when we talk about, obviously, no other player can come and it is, but what does it make a cost leadership? Affordable price. So generally it happens that if people are traveling for a longer distance and they want to travel, if the airfare are higher and probably traveling by a bus or taking their own vehicle will add to a lot of, there's a time constraint, and obviously as you rightly said, the cost, then Indian Railways come really handy. Obviously they're very affordable, right? But there is a catch here. Since they have to maintain that particular cost, they at times are in losses because they have to ensure that the inflation does not impact their prices, right? And at times, they are having, अच्छा trains का सबसे ज़्यादा competition किससे होता है? Airfare. Because if people are traveling from Rajdhani, they calculate, अच्छा इतना हम राजधानी में pay करेंगे, overnight जाएंगे, it's better that we take a airfare probably in Indigo. And when they are like, you know, there are airlines which are lower on cost. So they are having tough times. हाँ वो तो होता ही है रेल में everybody wants to travel by that because if you want to, you know, especially students, those who have limited pocket monies and they want to travel, they want to explore the country. Guys, let's talk to each other. Okay. So here what they exactly do is they take consideration of the market changes, but can they play a lot on their cost? They cannot. So at times they are under a lot of pressure to maintain the low costs, right? So there are other examples. How many of you know about Southwest Airlines? So, you know, if you'll ever, this is one of the very widely read case study on Southwest Airlines. So these are the airlines which are mostly in US. They fly at very, very low cost. How do they lower their cost? If you're going to the airport, generally what we do, we go to the airport, we are sniffed and we take the boarding pass, a seat is allotted, we go and we sit in that particular seat, right? But in Southwest Airlines, how do they take care of these things? How do they reduce their cost? They're very operationally efficient. What they do, you just take the ticket, go and sit anywhere. It's like a bus.
Yes, ma'am.
Just go, आपने टिकट है, आप जाके कहीं बैठ जाओ, आपको जहाँ सीट मिले जाके बैठो. उससे क्या होता है? How are they saving cost there? They are saving cost because the staff which is on the ground, there is not much to do for them, right?
Yes,
you can just go straight away from, you will just take your pass, you will take a boarding pass and then you will go directly to the flight. What about Bajaj Auto? How many guys know about their bike CT100? What is so unique about that bike? गांव में उसके ऊपर आप देखोगे कि जब ये गांव में ये बाइक इतनी ज़्यादा अवेलेबल है क्यों इतनी सी बाइक होती है उसके ऊपर इतना सारा सामान 4 लोग 5 लोग but how it is because it is like obviously it is at a lower price. I don't know exactly how much does it cost, but they have maintained a certain price which is very affordable. So you know when things are affordable, how do the organization make profit? Many people buy it. So they work on the volumes. Splendor, right. Splendor, I know. Do you know what IKEA? What does IKEA do? Sir, do you know what does IKEA do? It's okay, don't be annoyed just because I called you there. It's okay, just calm down. All of you are students, right? Okay. So do you know what an IKEA do? Okay. Anybody else? So what is very unique about the furniture?
MBAFT.
So India mein since we have a very, we get the labor at a lower cost. But you know when you go to US, there if you want to call a carpenter, they will cost you a bomb. So there people go to IKEA, they have their manuals. It is clearly written, you know, how to fix it. They will get these boards. Probably if this is a table that they want to fix or probably this podium they want to fix, you will get everything in pieces. It will come in a box. They will give you a sheet. They will give you the screws and everything and you will fix it yourself. So IKEA is one thing. How are they doing? They are saving on the cost. अगर आप किसी Delhi में if you go to any showroom where there is furniture, वहाँ पे we have proper sofas, right? अगर ये एक इतना बड़ा room है और उसमें मैंने कितने सोफ़ा आ जाएंगे probably maybe 10-20 for proper display, but in IKEA everything is folded. So how many can come here? Right? What they do, they show you on a iPad or on a screen that you know this is the sofa, this is how it will look, this is how your room would look, this is how your upholstery would be, this is how your decor would be, right? So they save on the cost. What about Patanjali? मैम आप बताएं, you know Patanjali products? हाँ बताइए उसके बारे में. किसकी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन है ये? Who is the face of the organization? Right. So what they have done is they claim to be made in India, 100% Ayurvedic, made in India. And if you buy their products, they are comparatively lower at price. What have I taught you in the last class कि हम lower price को क्या नहीं बोलेंगे? Right? So they are at a lower price, right? Now we will talk about the sources of cost advantage. So कैसे आपको cost advantage मिलेगी? Do you understand the concept of economies of scale? If you can explain it to the class.
If you make the products or the service in a bigger volume, the costs are much lesser because the fixed costs remain the same, but the variable cost increases to a proportion with the volume.
Simple terms में Boeing and Airbus are the aircrafts that are generally there, right? So what they do is, like अगर Boeing 737 is one which is typically used by most of these aviation companies, right? So there's this, see अगर मैं एक aircraft में, if I'll have multiple variants in aircrafts, so my pilots have to be trained according to the multiple variants. My aviation engineers will be trained, right, for every different aircraft. But when we have limited aircraft, limited variants, then what happens is one engineer will be able to deal with the entire fleet. They'll be able to handle the entire fleet. हर aviation, हर aircraft के लिए अलग से किसी को train करने की ज़रूरत नहीं होगी. Even if when, no, for example, if Indigo uses Boeing, so they know their ground staff, their staff which is up in the air, they know how to make that aircraft work. They know how to take care of its maintenance, right? Economies of scope, for example, Amazon, we have all ordered something or the other from Amazon, right? They have, if you have a Prime subscription of Amazon, they claim to deliver it on the very day or on the next day. How is it possible? Because they have very robust logistics. Their supply chain is good. You order right now, whomsoever the vendor is, the message goes there and they ensure that they deliver it to you within 24 hours. Similarly, Tata Group is one. They have the expertise, they have their branding, so on and so forth. Then efficient production techniques. As I had mentioned earlier, Toyota, if you have operations, if you have the subsidies operations, you will learn about JIT, just in time. Just, I'll probably guys would relate to it quickly. Have you seen Formula 1 races?
Yes, ma'am.
अगर उस कार में, Formula 1 cars में कुछ भी अगर issue होता है, like a tire or something, कितने second में they replace the tire? How quick? So that is what is, just in time. They have so similarly when it comes to, ma'am, can we just keep our phones aside for some time, please? Or please be smart enough to hide it from me. I'll give you two options, be smart or hide, just keep it aside. All right. So when we talk about Toyota, we know that they are they're very high in operational efficiency. Whenever they get an order, that is the time that they ask for the inventory, that is the time that they work on it, and everything is very standardized. They have a very formal standard operating procedures in place. Maruti Suzuki, we also know that earlier there was this manufacturing unit in Gurgaon. I don't know how many of you been to Fun and Food Village. There used to be one, and just behind that it used to be. So back in the days, I used to go for my school picnics. I used to go there. I used to go sit in the giant wheel. We could see the Maruti manufacturing unit, and we used to be like really, intrigued by it. That what is this?
Do we have any case studies for the Maruti Suzuki production in the lockdown time because they had a backlog?
We'll study whatever is required for this particular class. Probably what you are saying, it will be probably part of operations or HR, how they, right? So, but we will be doing case study. That is one of the critical part of our class, right? Then supply chain and procurement. Supply chain procurement, Walmart. You know what Walmart is, right? I guess it's like a US ka big bazaar. वहाँ पे Costco भी एक चलता है वहाँ पे. Then then Jio, as one of my friends rightly said, Jio has just disrupted the market with the prices, right? Then low cost input factors. See, why are we learning these things are because probably after MBA you will be getting into corporates, you will be working, and if any of you will be getting into part of the strategy planning and all those things, you will probably get कि यार ये X product है, इसके sales कम हो रहे हैं. Work around it. What would you do? What would you suggest? Since now you guys have done your MBA, you can't have a very general view about things. You have to be very focused. You need to have, if you have a certain skill set, you need to sharpen it and you need to ensure that you have a strategy which has already been done probably by some other company, which is, that's why we do the case studies also, right? So low cost input factors. Have you ever been to Zara, Mango, Gap, H&M? If you'll see those products, Achha, I had given you one homework last time. Achha, it was for the other class, no? When I asked you guys to go to Starbucks. कौन गया था? Chalo, never mind. So yeah, guys, if you'll go to these stores, H&M, Zara, you will find very rarely it is written that it is made in India. It is written maybe made in Bangladesh, made in Vietnam, made in Cambodia, made in China. Why? Because there we get cheap labors, there all these taxations are less. It is a hub for manufacturers. At times you will find, made in Sri Lanka. It's very rare that you will find some product which is made in India per se when I am talking about these international companies. Then product design, I had already mentioned about IKEA, how they do flat packaging. There are boxes in which, like for example, if this is the podium that I want, all these would come in flat boxes, right? So how does it help? Even if it has to be loaded in a truck, it can easily be put. Probably not just one. Agar ek truck hai, let's assume there is a truck with a huge capacity. If I have to put this entire thing, probably 5 or 6 I can keep. But if all this is dismantled, how many can I keep? Probably 100 or probably 50, right? Then the experience curve. What does experience curve means? How will it help in the differentiation strategy? Larsen and Toubro, what do they do? No, they don't make the metros. What is L&T into? So they are into, have you seen their cranes and their units in which what do we call, the cement and so they are basically into machinery. Then capacity utilization, that whatever your capacities, when does any organization for that matter or in hotel, for example, there's a hotel which has 10 rooms or 20 rooms. What do they try? That they should have full occupancy, because if the occupancy is not high, then what will happen?
Because the operation cost is same if it is vacant.
Right. Even if you go to a restaurant, do you understand how does a restaurant model works? Have you ever thought about it? See, when we go to a restaurant, how do they do their calculation? How do they do their cost is per table?
Yes, they calculate the total time of the tables.
Right. So, for example, let's do this math. It will be fun if we'll do this math.
Yes,
If, for example, you have your restaurant, which is, let's assume, a cafe, okay, and you have 10 tables on it, and you start from 11 in the morning or 10 in the morning, and you serve till 9, no, till 10. कितने घंटे हो गए? And if you have 10 tables, ठीक है, 12 hours हो गए, और मान लो आप कि probably I'm going with you, we are going for a coffee, कुछ खाएंगे भी, सिर्फ तो कॉफ़ी तो नहीं पियेंगे, we'll have something, probably a sandwich, a croissant or something. What does a coffee generally cost? 250 minimum लेते हैं 250. 2 कॉफ़ी ले लिया 500, एक croissant ले लिया 300, then probably कुछ कुकी ले लिया 1000, let's assume 1000 per table, 1000 हो गया, right? And how much time let's assume I'm sitting for 1 hour and we have 10 tables. तो कितना हो गया वो पूरा 10 tables का? Let's assume the entire class is gone. You know, हम सब लोग बैठे हैं वहाँ पे, we are having a coffee, right? So per table, how much it would be? 1000 into 10, 10,000. ठीक है, 12 अब 12 hours का कितना हुआ? With full occupancy I'm talking. मतलब 20,000, ठीक है. अब इसको पूरा अब एक मंथ में कितना हुआ?
3 lakhs, 36 lakhs.
इतना हो गया. बट अगर यहीं पे, और ये मैं आपको आई एम टॉकिंग टू यू अबाउट एट अ वेरी यू नो मिनिमम कॉस्टिंग. ज़रूरी थोड़ी है कि 2 ही लोग जाके खा रहे हैं. क्वाइट पॉसिबल एट वन पर्टिकुलर टेबल देयर 5 people आर सिटिंग. द कॉस्ट वुड इंक्रीज अकॉर्डिंग टू दैट. सो स्पेशली इन अ रेस्टोरेंट बिजनेस, everyone tries to achieve higher operational efficiency. They want that there be higher occupancy. कितना मैक्स आया हमारा? Close to 40 lakhs a month. ठीक है. हमने एम्प्लॉयज़ को कितने दे दिए? We have 3 employees. 3 employees है. Probably we are giving them 15,000 a month. चलो 20 दे देते हैं. Let's give them 20,000 a month. ठीक है. 60,000 दे दिया out of our 36 lakhs. 60,000 दे दिया. बाकी हमारा कितना बचा? 40,000 मानते हैं. 40,000. 35 lakhs अपना रखा है. 40,000 उसमें हमने बिजली का बिल दे दिया. ठीक है. और इन्वेंट्री ले ली थोड़ी बहुत, क्योंकि इतनी ज़्यादा उसमें लगती नहीं, जो थोड़ा बहुत ले लिया हमने. और मान लो हमारे रेस्टोरेंट का जो रेंट है विच इज़ अराउंड 2 लाख रुपीज़. ठीक है. और चलो हम और ज़्यादा रिसोर्सेज ले लेते हैं. हमने 2 लाख रुपए सामान खरीदने में भी लगा दिए. कितने बच गए हमारे पास? 31 लाख. तो ये क्या हो गया हमारा? प्रॉफिट हो गया. गुड बिजनेस मॉडल. हाँ. अब जाओगे एवरी टाइम यू गो टू अ रेस्टोरेंट और अ डिनर फॉर डिनर, यू विल हैव दिस इन माइंड. ठीक है. So just you know, now since you are management students, you will be getting into these. Probably most of these students, as I have interacted, you said that you want to have your own startups. These are the maths which are important. You should know these things. Not necessarily that you know the fancy terms, fixed costs and variable costs and you know this and that, but you should know कि ये चीज़ है simple तरीके से how to do a business. कि ये पर्टिकुलर धंधा कैसे करना है. इतना मैं इन्वेस्ट करना है, इतना मेरा ROI आना चाहिए. अभी हमें रेस्टोरेंट का समझ में आ गया. ये कैफ़े है. अगर हमारा एक वो है फाइन डाइन है, सो पर टेबल कितना हो जाएगा?
बहुत हो जाएगा. पर टेबल अप्रोक्सीमेटली 3,000 तक.
3,000.
वीकेंड्स में इनका सेल बहुत ज़्यादा होता है. फ्राइडे नाइट से.
हाँ. सो जो हमने डिस्कस करा ये मैंने बहुत ही ना लिमिटेड और बहुत ही मिनिमाइज करके वी हैव डिस्कस द कॉस्ट. You can obviously extrapolate it, and many of you, if you're thinking about a restaurant business, then you know, you guys. कैसे? हाँ, exactly. You have to consider all those things. What I'm talking about is it a very idealistic situation, right? Political threats की बात नहीं करते हैं, वो that can be taken care of. But a threat probably, guys, हम बात करते हैं ना. Abhi, don't worry, I will give you opportunity to interact amongst yourself. Don't worry, right? Then waste reduction and lean operations. Have you seen Nike shoes? So उसमें ना 2 तरह के shoes आते हैं. एक होते हैं recycled shoes, right? So what they do is they probably collect the shoes and they recycle them and they are made out of waste. They are at times a little lower on cost, but उनके जो probably men would know the sneakers and all those things, right? And how do they reduce their cost? They will look same, they will be as beautiful as a normal Nike shoes is, but they are refurbished. Phones भी आते हैं, Apple के phones, they're refurbished phones. If you go to an Apple store, they will ask you, that this is the price, this is a refurbished phone. If you want to buy, you can buy. Even online, I think Amazon and all, they also sell the refurbished phone. So these are the phones probably, if sir has used a phone, he has exchanged it, and that phone would be, taken care of, iOS update ho jayega, so on and so forth, and it will be up for the sale. Then outsourcing and offshoring, Apple की manufacturing कहाँ होती है? अब होती है, बट जनरली कहाँ होती है? अगर आप कोई भी एक एप्पल का प्रोडक्ट लेंगे ना, व्हेन यू विल गेट द बॉक्स, उसमें लिखा होता है डिज़ाइंड इन कैलिफोर्निया, डिज़ाइंड इन कैलिफोर्निया. मैन्युफैक्चरिंग कहाँ, अब इंडिया में भी हो रही है, चाइना में तो होती ही है, बट इट विल बी डिज़ाइन. महिंद्रा एंड महिंद्रा ऑल्सो दैट मेंशन दैट दे हैव लीन मैन्युफैक्चरिंग. उससे क्या होता है कि मिनिमाइज वेस्ट. कैसे होता है लीन मैन्युफैक्चरिंग? दे ट्राई कि इफ देयर इज अ मशीनरी विच इज़ बीइंग यूज, वो बहुत कम टाइम के लिए खाली रहे, क्योंकि आपका कॉस्ट तो उतना ही लगेगा, राइट? जैसे स्कूल्स होते हैं, लाइक स्कूल्स में क्या होता है, बच्चे सुबह गए अपना 9 to 1, 9 to 2 उन्होंने पढ़ाई करी एंड दे आर ऑफ. इफ यू नोटिस दीज डेज क्या होता है, वो जो स्कूल्स में ना शाम को कोचिंग क्लासेस ऑपरेट होने लग जाती हैं. वाई? बिकॉज आपका फिक्स कॉस्ट तो है, आपके पास कैपेसिटी है टू अकोमोडेट. आपके अभी तक यूटिलाइजेशन कितनी हो रही थी? 9 to 2. अब to ensure that they have high utilization, what they do is they give it on rent to some coaching centers, so on and so forth. Technological innovations, Tesla we all know, right? So this is their point of differentiation. Then management and organizational efficiency, we know about Google and ICICI Bank. बैंक में अगर आप जाएंगे उधर देखेंगे that they have made a lot of organizational changes. When it comes to Google also, they have various business. हमने शायद से पहले डिस्कस किया था गूगल के क्या क्या प्रोडक्ट्स एंड सर्विसेज हैं. सब एक एक बोलेंगे, आप बताएं. एज हो गया, मैप हो गया, राइट. सो ये क्या है इसके गूगल के? The different products and services, right? So what they're trying to do is they are trying to be highly efficient. They're trying to have highly efficient management and organizational efficiency. Now we will discuss about broad differentiation versus focus. What do you understand by broad differentiation and focus? If anyone can throw some light on this.
Company like Volkswagen have a focused strategy for maintaining a brand like Rolls-Royce, and they have, a focused strategy to maintain a brand like Volkswagen that is producing the production car, very Volkswagen showroom brand, and the broad differentiation strategy for maintaining the high-end brands like Porsche, Lamborghini.
Right. So this broad differentiation strategy means that they are trying to cater to a wider audience, but probably they have a very focused approach when it comes to the product. In India, probably these Apple products are expensive, but in US these are not very expensive, and what they try to do is if there's a new product that comes up, they replace it and they try to keep their customer base intact with them. Right? So there's a broad differentiation strategy. Their products are valued by a wide range of customers, but at the same time, these are the niche customers as well. What they do is, see, when people buy an Apple product, they really like the the look and feel of it. They really want to use it. It comes really handy. Probably, if you've seen these YouTubers, they generally use Apple products. Why do they use it? Because they have to do a lot of editing. So when they have to do a lot of editing, they need to have a system which is robust enough that can help in editing and all those. But at times, people also buy an Apple product just because the perceived value. That if you have an Apple product, how you are perceived by people would be different. They don't use it for some, they're not editing or they are not making the most of it, but they just want it, probably they can, probably because they can afford it, right? So it is about the perceived value. What is a focus strategy? See, focus strategy can be both ways. It can either be a differentiation based focus strategy or a cost based focus strategy. Here, example, have you heard about this brand Rolex? What they do is, they are into watches. So they are into high end luxury watches, right? It's a watch. क्या काम होता है watch का? Time. Simple है. वो सेम चीज़ एक आपको टाइटन की वॉच भी बता देगी, एक रॉलेक्स भी बता देगी और राडो वर्ड. बट what are they have a very focused TG. Whom are they aiming for? People who have high net worth, people who have a certain perceived value, people who have a higher purchasing power, right? So if we compare it, between broad differentiation targets, a wide market, as I mentioned, focus niche को. Rolex हर कोई नहीं पहनेगा, probably few selective people. If you know about this car Rolls Royce, everybody can't buy it, even if you have the purchasing power. Like even if sir wants to go and buy a Rolls Royce, probably they will do a thorough check. They want to ensure that if someone is having their brand, their car, is that person worth it? So there are various theories also that they think really high of themselves and then they are valuing, they are evaluating the customer before selling their product. But even if you have a lot of money, you just can't go and buy a Rolls Royce, right? Earlier there used to be a restaurant in GK. If you want to go and have food there, they used to take an interview. Yeah. Earlier, back in the day, they used to ask, do you know the table manners and certain things they used to ask, and then they used to give you a reservation. Now, obviously, these are the things which are not good for the society. Anyone who has a purchasing power belonging to any strata of the society can easily go and have dinner in any place that they want to, right? So what are different types of differentiation strategies? So what are differentiation strategies? These are the strategies that revolve around distinguishing their product and services, right? So how can this be achieved? If they have a unique way to analyze their customer, and if they can offer their customers with something which is, like for example, it's okay if you charge a premium, but that product should serve the purpose, right? So there are various differentiation strategy. So you please get up and read what is product differentiation from the board.
Product differentiation features, unique characteristics of functionalities that set a product apart, quality, superiority in terms of durability, reliability.
I think it's not very legible, it's okay. So when I talk about product differentiation, as we have already mentioned about this example, an Apple product, they have a very different ergonomics. You understand ergonomics? You know how a product is designed, how it's handy, how you're able to use it in your hands, so on and so forth, right? So yeah, they obviously have a very unique interface. They are user friendly, and generally once a person starts to use an Apple product, it's very difficult for them to go to some other product. Then what about service differentiation? What's the difference? See, when I talk about service differentiation, how many of you have used the service of Urban Company?
I've heard of them, they're very great.
Axis Bank also. Banking sector also.
Bank also, you work with the bank, no? You're into sales, right? So bank is one such thing. Bank is also service differentiation. Agar I'll not quote the bank's name, but we all know that people generally avoid going to the banks where there is a lot of अभी उधर चले जाइए आप उधर उधर अभी आप लंच हो गया है ना दिस इज लाइक go to table number 2 counter number 4 we kind of avoid these things so this actually paved way for the other banks to enter right so now when we go to the bank we want that how quick can we be served we are okay to pay a premium we are okay to pay a little extra but what do we want to be served really fast and well then what about brand differentiation when you talk about brands we correlate for example when it comes to PlayStations who's the manufacturer of PlayStation and Xbox so generally what do people prefer PlayStation why because games yes obviously but when you use a PlayStation with a Sony television the feel of playing is very different but if you use that particular PlayStation on probably a Samsung TV or an LG TV there will be a lag in using right so I have a little knowledge about it so this is how and for example Nike also is one such product that people perceive it that it will be robust they have do you know that Nike has a very strong after sales team when the product is sent to you you wear it if there is any issue with your product you can go and you can get it changed it is even with your Apple product if you take their warranty for 1 year or 2 years even if there is a hardware issue even if your phone breaks you can go and get it replaced if you have taken the warranty for 2 years which would cost you around some 21,000 for 2 years and 17,000 for 1 year so if it is for 2 years even if your phone get damaged as many times you can go and get it replaced right what is price differentiation as I had already mentioned they charge a little extra when people pay extra they feel they have an innate you share the example with me ma'am your friend has a look कि मैं नहीं जानता इसको see don't disturb the class what is price differentiation that people are willing to pay an extra so that they feel a little superior probably to others but not just superior but they have a purchasing powers and they are willing to spend extra for it for the luxury so on and so forth what is distribution differentiation क्या है उसमें क्या differentiation में क्या होता है when they have unique differentiation मुझे अभी वो example याद नहीं आ रहा I'll recall probably in the next class I'll share that HUL has this thing in down south Tamil Nadu and the places I don't remember what exactly it's called this comes some amma so what they've done is जो ladies of a village हैं उन्होंने they have given them certain amount उनको एक HUL के products दिए हैं so that they can be independent and their products can be sold वहाँ पे so that they are reaching everywhere in the rural when you do an MBA and if you join an organization like an ITC and an HUL even if your package is worth probably 30 LPA or a 40 LPA what will the first task that they will give you if you're into their sales and marketing what do you think that the first task that they'll give you they will send you to the rural areas you have to travel by the different modes and they have to ensure that this ITC product is everywhere it lies in the nook and corner because it ensures that their product they have strong supply chain the logistics are good and they are available all over the country what about the relationship differentiation have you seen if you ever go to an Amazon app to buy a certain product हम एक चीज़ सर्च करते हैं वो हमें 4 ऑप्शंस दिखा देता है right if for instance you buy a shirt so you will get a message as per your earlier data Size M would be good for you, or size S would be suitable for you. How are they able to do it? Right, they have your data and they have seen your, they have a record of the purchasing history. They can evaluate. Talk to me now.
Sometimes from Android phone also do that. Sometimes Android phone also do that कि हम किसी चीज का discussion कर देते हैं.
It's not just about Android phones, you know, this is very scary. If right now I'll start talking about pizza right now, maybe after pizza, probably after 5 minutes, probably I'll get a Domino's message or a Pizza Hut message. What they do is, you know, they are tracking you, right? Here today is a network issue, so you will not get any such message. But otherwise, I'm saying, earlier it used to be like, how come they know that, you know, we are discussing this and so on and so forth. Right. Then what about image differentiation? Image differentiation. You know, why do these brands hire, you know, film stars? I think I've discussed this example before. For my new students, I'll discuss it again. You know, there was a time when there used to be Maggie, and suddenly they changed its masala and they changed its taste. And उनके जो sales थे, वो बिल्कुल down हो गए. Then what they did, they hired Mr. Amitabh Bachchan to be their brand, the face of the brand. And then what was the ad? Purani wali Maggie. So when we talk about the image differentiation, it means that, you know, we are using and we are evoking certain emotions amongst people that, you know, this is your old Maggie, या आपकी पहले वाली Maggie. I remember, I don't know in which year exactly, what they did was that if you write a story like Meri hostel wali Maggie, you keep sitting here, you're not going. Sit. Meri hostel wali Maggie, Meri ye wali Maggie, Meri night study wali Maggie, so on and so forth. Right? Then what is technology differentiation? SpaceX we know. Who's the owner of SpaceX, ma'am? बताएं. Elon Musk, you want to go? So what they've done? See, in India, we have these dedicated organizations, which are government organizations, ISRO, which are into, you know, if as a country, we want to explore the outer space, but there in US, there are also other private organizations, such as SpaceX. They are allowed to try their hands on it. What they try to do is, they try to reuse their rockets and their space technology. What does it help in? They have their own tech team, their own engineers who are trying to develop a cutting edge technology. Now what are blue ocean strategies? What do you mean by blue ocean strategies? What does come to your mind? Have you heard about blue ocean strategies? Never? Actually, this is a very important strategy. Huh? Even if, you know, when there will be what did you not understand? So even, you know, when you will getting your exam, you will be having case studies, and generally also when you will have your own startup, or even when you will read a newspaper like Economic Times or Business Standard, you will come across this term many times. What is blue ocean strategy? So there are two strategies, red ocean and blue ocean. In simple terms, red ocean strategy is something that already there is an existing market, there is already a Paytm, there is already a PhonePe, पर हम भारत पे भी ले आएंगे. Right? So there is already a groundwork is laid. There are other founders who have done your work. They have educated the citizens of the country how to use digital thing, how to use QR codes, how to scan it. They have done it all for you, and suddenly an organization like BharatPe comes and they disrupt the market. Right? But here, the red ocean, already there is existing players. But what is a blue ocean strategy? What is a blue ocean? Where there was nobody. So in this case, when Paytm entered the market, there was no other player. So when there is no other player and you are the first one, you are the pioneers at that time, this is called as blue ocean strategy. How does it help? यहाँ पे competition की बात ही नहीं है. There is no competition. You are the first one. So yeah, you can say that it's a monopoly. There is no competition. You are the one. हमारे phone में बस एक ही app है Paytm. हम सिर्फ वो ही use करते हैं. Do you understand the model of Paytm? How does it make money?
I'm mostly right now it's ticketing as well. Like lots of the charges of
I'm sorry? हाँ वो भी दे सकते हैं. How do you know how does phone pay, Paytm, Bharat Pay make money?
But they charge you the commission after crossing the transaction.
No.
They have all platforms.
That is a very minor. वो आपको cashbacks भी देते हैं. What is the core thing? How are they having so much of? हाँ जी. एक मिनट. Sorry. हाँ. Okay.
Google Play Store is one of the parts.
I'll tell you how does it work. For instance, all of us use PhonePe or Paytm, right? And they ask us to recharge our wallets. कि हाँ आप 2000 का आप रिचार्ज कर लो and per month आपका 2000 अपने आप उसमें आ जाएगा. So what do they do? This is one. I'll tell you both the models. Okay. The first one is this. मानो सब लोगों के पैसे उनके पास है. What do they do with the money? They invest. They lend. They are like banks. The other thing is, here is something when we have kept certain money in our wallets and they are using उसका interest वो लोग रख रहे हैं अपने पास. That's how you get cashbacks also. The other thing, for example, ma'am has a store. She has a boutique. I go to her store and I buy a sari from her store. I pay her through Paytm. And इनको दिखता है कि इनके पास she has received the amount. And for example, I buy a sari for 5,000 rupees and she gets it, it's there. But you know, it takes time. They keep that money with them for some time so that they can gain the interest on it. And you know, when I'm talking about all this, don't think it's just me who is buying something. Imagine there are crores of people who are using it. How they are making money? Because there's so many people who are their users, who are their customers, who are, you know, that's very easy now. You just go to anywhere. If you want to buy vegetables, you just scan it and you just pay it. And I'll tell you one more thing, you know, this digitalization, if you go to any country, for example, European country, there is no concept of Paytm, PhonePe, digital, nothing is there.
Maybe it's only in India.
Yeah.
Now people are replicating it.
Like last year I had an opportunity to go and I found, you know, I just got my phone and I asked them for, you know, if you have a QR, they were clueless. What is QR code? What is?
There is, I think, one-time payments work.
So they don't know the concept. The way India is, the way we have progressed with respect to digitization, if we think, you know, that Western countries have progressed, they have not. They still don't have the concept of QR codes. Either you have the hard cash or your cards. You can't pay there through your phones. So I'll give you one homework. Recently, Paytm is being is found in 2-3 more countries, India's neighboring countries. आप मुझे Google करके बताएंगे कि वो कौन सी countries हैं. Paytm. आप करिए फिर बताइए, ठीक है? All right. So when we talk about blue ocean strategy, what is the value innovation? What they do is, they are not focusing on competition at all. They're not focusing on competition. They are new in the market. There is no one which is existing. So they are not really bothered. They can focus their energies, whole and soul, into what they are trying to gain, right? But how does it differentiate from traditional strategies? Traditional strategy, red ocean strategy. There is a place, there are multiple kirana stores. एक और आ जाएगी अगर तो उसके प्रॉफिट्स में कैसे चेंज होगा, उसको कुछ तो डिफरेंशिएशन लाना पड़ेगा ना, कुछ ऑफर्स दैट पर्सन हैज़ टू गिव or some. So what generally people try to do is they try that if there is a market, they try कि हम ऐसा कोई product रखें which is different from which is already being sold. Then what are the key steps to creating a blue ocean? एक तो अपने खुद market boundaries create करेंगे, right? You'll find your new markets, you'll find that okay, probably this is the market, for example, that I mentioned about the ghadi detergent powder. They found a market in, you know, rural areas, right? They found a market. If you go to, you know, abhi recently this last week I was there at my native, and there I went to a store to buy some wafers, and I asked them ki Lays hai kya? They were clueless, you know, what are Lays? They had some different, that also I bought, but these people were clueless about, you know, what are Lays, because the supply chain, the logistics are not there. That Pepsi Coca product Lays वहाँ पहुँचा ही नहीं है अभी, right? They had their own brands, तो वहाँ पर भी brands हैं that probably we are not aware of. It is their TG. वहाँ पर भी there are certain chocolates that we have never heard of. It is their TG, right? So this is sort of a blue ocean for them. Then they know that these brands have not reached. This is an opportunity for us to cater to the market. Then focus on the big picture, not the numbers. As already mentioned, your vision should be great. You should not be looking at a short-term thing. You should have a focus on a long-term thing. Probably right now you are not very established in the market, but eventually, you know, Paytm ka, if you know, the day demonetization happened, overnight, Paytm gave a huge ad on the front page. Like रात को announce हुआ है, and there was an ad that we are there in the market. Earlier, people had little, you know, hesitation in paying digitally. कहीं ज़्यादा तो नहीं पैसे कट जाएंगे, नहीं आया तो double transaction ना हो जाए, होए ना, we can't rely on Paytm, PhonePe. But the day demonetization happened, there was a huge ad in the newspaper, the front page ad, in which it was mentioned that, what is the logo of Paytm?
Like PayPal, it is.
And what do the slogan? Paytm karo, right? Then reach beyond existing demand. We have already you know, spoken about it. Finding new customers, probably a need that probably you don't know that you need it. They will find it, that you needed it. You know, recently there was this, I don't know how many of you have watched Shark Tank.
Yes, ma'am.
Right, so there was this gentleman who came, and he came with some, you know, something which can be stuck onto the glass, so that, you know, zip line or something, so that you can, if you want to drink a water at a restaurant in that glass, you will have it, और आप उसको मतलब, especially during the COVID times. So, you know, we never thought that we needed that product.
He invented a solution for it, but not a problem.
So, you know, these are certain things that probably that, you know, we didn't know that we needed it. Probably, you know, a hand cream, a concept of hand cream. Cream, to our body cream, you can put it on your hands, right? I mean, but then they were saying, you needed a hand cream. You don't know. We are telling you, you need this product. ये आपको नहीं पता, but आपको ज़रूरत है इसकी. You need this hand cream, right? Then people would go and buy those products, right? What they are trying to do is they are creating the demand. They are putting it across that you need this. You didn't know this, but you need this. Then get the strategic sequence right. What is this? That, you know, whatever your, we're talking with respect to blue ocean, whatever you product that you're offering, it is commercially viable. It should not be that, you know, you just go and start manufacturing some product and you find that it is not commercially viable. What do we mean by commercially viable? It means that, you know, what if you make a product and the sales are not happening? What if it's a product which is very differentiated, किसी ने पहले नहीं करा है, but you don't need it? Then what is the point, right? Then what are the key principles of blue ocean? सबसे पहले, to create an uncontested market space. Then, as we mentioned earlier, to make the competition irrelevant. Then create and capture new demand. break the value cost trade off and pursue differentiation and low cost. Differentiated product भी देना है but आपको cost भी low रखनी है, ठीक है? So these are certain examples of blue ocean strategy. Reliance Jio, right? We all know they disrupted the market. Then Ola cabs, बाहर Uber चलती है, यहाँ पर भी Uber है, but how does who was the owner of Ola? So this chap Bhavish Agrawal, he's a alum of IIT Bombay. What he did, he was like, why not we have something on similar lines of Uber in our country, and he named it Ola. And now, especially, it's so easy for us to commute, right? If we are going from place X to place Y. Now, so I've heard there's this Rapido also, which is further at a lower price, There are bike riders, there are autos that you can easily, which are obviously at a lower price also. Then Flipkart, we know Flipkart was the first one who pioneered into e-commerce, and what they offered, cash on delivery. Earlier, people when used to order something online, we had an inhibition. What if हमारे पैसे use हो जाए वहाँ, but we don't get the product? Then they gave us an assurance. You receive your product and then you pay. But now, since we know we have the trust, they have built the trust. Now even we don't want the hassle of paying by cash. We're like, ठीक है, you have a return policy. If I'll not like the thing, I will return it anyway. That's okay. No cash on delivery is required. Paytm, we have mentioned earlier, they were the pioneers. They were the first one who were, who entered the market. Who is the founder of Paytm? Right? So he is this alum of DCE, and he came up with Paytm. Narayan Health Pay, जो case study है, बहुत widely these case studies are studied. Please write one homework that I'm assuming that I have faith that people will do. Read about Narayan Hridayalaya. These are the chain of hospitals that have really worked. So these are the case studies that are widely used in B schools. Narayan Hridayalaya is one case study which is widely used, how they have cut costs on their operations. Narayan Hridayalaya, Hridayalaya, Narayan Health. Just read about it, how they have disrupted the healthcare. Even in Delhi, they have their hospital, how they have reduced their costs, so on and so forth, right? So what are the advantages and challenges of blue ocean? Quickly we'll do this. Obviously, there's less competition. There is a potential for high profits. Since there is nobody there, so since you are the only player, the chances of having higher profits are there. Then brand growth will be good. People will develop a brand loyalty. They will just go, some people are like, we just drink Coke. There are followers of Pepsi and Coke. They are like, we are loyal to our brand, we are loyal to Coke, right? Then sustainability, if the blue ocean strategy is there, if it is successfully implemented, quite possible you will sustain in the market for the longer time. What are the challenges? There are obviously risk of failures. If your strategy is not well implemented, not well thought, the chances of failures are obviously higher. Imitation, as I mentioned, Paytm, PhonePe, it was quickly imitated, BharatPe, so on and so forth. They have created the market. For example, I am the founder of Paytm, and you are my customer base. I have taken care of, ensuring that you people learn how to use a Paytm. I have placed QRs everywhere, so on and so forth. What did BharatPe do different? What they do different was, earlier, when कोई भी shopkeeper Paytm का QR या PhonePe का QR रखता था, so they were supposed to pay a certain merchant fee, a certain percent. BharatPe said you don't pay anything, but just keep our QR code. And you have to encourage people to pay through this, right? And they also did, अभी आपने देखा है आप कोई भी QR code हो, चाहे उसके ऊपर Paytm लिखा हो, but if you use a PhonePe also, it will work. अभी ज़रूरी नहीं है कि अगर फ़ोनपे का है तो ही फ़ोनपे ऐप आप, द कंपैटिबिलिटी इज़ देयर, एनी QR कोड इज़ देयर, इट डिपेंड, एनी ऐप इज़ देयर, आप उसे यूज़ करो एंड यू कैन मेक द पेमेंट, राइट. Resource intensive, obviously blue ocean strategy है, you are entering into a market which is so new, you have to be very critical about how you will utilize your resources. Now we will do the case study analysis. This is the case study and I want you guys to divide amongst yourself into a group of, so I want 4 groups. Let this be group 1, group 2, or shall we have 5 groups? Okay, let's have 4 groups and the 5th question would be for everyone. So first of all you just write these questions. So let's divide, right? So this is group 1. If you can please shift here. Let this be group 2. Okay, आप इधर आ. And you come here. So these two rows are group 2, that is group 3, and this is group 4. The 5th question is for everyone. So you have to answer, question 1 is for group 1, question 2 is for group 2, 3, 4 and 5th is for everyone. So you just write down your question and then I'll open the page for the case study. No, you just stick to your question, question 2. You have to answer question 1, question 2, question 3, question 4 and 5th is for everyone. And if you're done, can I come back to the page where we have the case study? Okay, so the drill is, I want one representative. Who will be representative from this group? Okay, you represent your group, right? Ma'am, you will represent your group. All right. There, who will represent? आप दोनों उस ग्रुप से हैं, ठीक है? You are in group 3, you guys. ठीक है? So आप represent करेंगे आपके ग्रुप को, all right? हाँ आप, yeah, you. All right. You are the representative of group 3 and group 4 कौन represent करेगा? Okay. You are the representative of group 4. Asha guys, you can come closer to each other and then you can have a discussion. You want to be? ठीक है, so 2 of you, you and you. Both of you are the representative of this group. All right? So don't feel shy. Chalo, I'm putting it on the case study, right? So, वापस आना है? Yeah, write your question quickly. 5th question is for everyone. हाँ. यार Zoom तो नहीं हो पाएगा. रुको एक मिनट. दिख नहीं रहा है, रुको. हाँ एक मिनट. Is it legible now? ठीक है? So should I put it on the case study now? हाँ? आपने क्वेश्चन लिख लिया? See guys, first of all, you know, these are the times that you can obviously interact amongst yourself, since we have a very diverse group, right? And not always all the classmates come at the same time, so just make the most of it, you know, you'll get to know new people as well. Okay, I'm putting it on the case study, all right? So the case study is about green tech innovations navigating strategic choices. So it is a fictional company, obviously. It is a medium-sized enterprise which is into making eco-friendly home appliances. It was established in 2015 in Bengaluru, and the company initially gained recognition for its cost-effective solar-powered water heaters. But as the market evolved, green tech faced increased competition and changing consumer preferences. So what was the situation for green tech? Contemplating two strategic paths to sustain growth and profitability. Okay, so one thing is that, you know, whatever solutions that you guys would come up with, let's stick to what we have learned in today's class, all right? And you have to put your think hat and think cap, and accordingly you need to answer. As I already maintained, it is not a reading comprehension. You have to give strategic answers. You need to use certain terminologies, what you have studied. You have to use frameworks if required. So what are the two strategies that they have? One is cost leadership and focus. Other one is broad differentiation versus niche focus. Challenges क्या है? Market saturate हो गया है, technologically advancements जो होती हैं eco-friendly appliances में बहुत quickly it is adapting, quickly it is changing, consumer preferences are changing, and resource allocation. So I will just keep it to this case study. I hope you guys have noted your questions, and you will not have much time. Actually, the last question is for everyone. Yeah, I'm sorry. Chalo. Is this fine now?
Yes, ma'am.
अच्छा बातें नहीं करनी है, डिस्कशन करने हैं. ठीक है, I know you all people are anxious for it's okay guys, you can turn around and discuss. Team leader, you need to discuss with everyone. आप पीछे चले जाओ. Okay, let's discuss question 1, shall we? So what were the challenges? Market saturation, rapid technological advancements, consumer preferences were changing, and resource allocation. So question 1 was, guys, let's discuss question 1 now. Should green tech I'm giving you 2 more minutes and then we'll discuss. अटेंडेंस शीट हो गई है? अटेंडेंस लाओ, शीट दे दो मुझे. थैंक यू. Okay, question number 1 now, come. Should green tech, okay guys, now we are discussing question 1, so come. आप इधर आइए. Okay, everyone, just end the discussion now. Go back to your respective places. Come here. Now we will listen to our classmate. Everybody, go back to your places. Ma'am, back to your place. Yeah, start. Okay, discussion over. Time out. Yeah, start. So, should green tech pursue a cost leadership and focus strategy or a differentiation strategy?
So, by considering the implication for each strategy, for the strategy as cost leadership and focus strategy, the company can try to produce a different product apart from the heater only. They can give something else, like they can provide a charging station for that, for EV. I mean, they can provide a mass charging infrastructure, which is powered by solar energy only, with the same cost efficiency, which is there.
Well, you think it will be same cost efficiency? I mean, if you are having an EV, do you understand that how much cost it would? Anyways, please go on, yeah?
So, see, they are not trying to compete with the already settled market, and they can't provide a cost which is going to be competitive in the market, and they want to come with a new product.
Correct.
So they can come with a new product and they can beat with the cost leadership out there. They You can play in the cost leadership area.
Do you guys agree with what our classmate has said, or do you have something else to share?
Not about the EV charging station
Right.
because it is a different segment altogether.
Right.
It is not a niche.
Correct.
It is not a core product. That's why.
You come here, please. And what else have you? You come here. You'll be
That is all
focused.
I have calculated if they are providing something which is based on the solar panel. So solar panels are meant to be placed over a size. Okay, and they do have an acquisition for a big land mass also. And if you're using it in a commercial place or in a see, it is a very focused about the green tech only. They're trying the most expensive part in their whole structure is not about the pipe and the fittings, it is about the solar panels.
Solar panels,
So they want to increase the market to spend on the solar panels, right?
Right.
So whom are they going to meet for the next expansion? You're not going to get a mass scale for your building or for apartment, or if you're living in a
Right.
home which is a two-story, right? You can use them for a society as a whole front, and for that thing you can also provide not just the solar heaters. You can take the energy and use it in a different.
So what is your verdict? Should they go
So,
for
they
cost
can-
leadership or a differentiation strategy?
For the differentiation strategy, they should try on,
Alright.
as they can't meet up with the only the solution of a water heater. So they can try out different strategy and they can introduce a new product in the market which is using the same base core product like the solar panel.
Right.
Apart from the heater, water heater, they can use a different product also.
Okay, thank you. Now, the CR for, sorry, the team leader for. So if Green Tech chooses differentiation, should it be broad or niche focus? You understand what a niche is, no?
Yes.
Hi. All of you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, yeah.
So it should.
Okay guys, listen, when your classmate is here, you have to listen.
So it should focus on the broader market because if they will focus on the niche market, then their cost will definitely increase and the segments will be very selective. So they should focus on the broaderness and they can improve something in their product, like they can increase the battery life or
See,
more sense-
students, whenever you come up with any, strategy, do you know the job, what is the job of a consultant? There are 4 organizations. McKinsey is like the big 4 is KPMG, Deloitte, PwC. What is the role of a consultant? As my student rightly said, that they can have innovations, but you have to take care that, anything that you're doing, it has a cost.
Yes, ma'am.
Right, so you have to take that under consideration. Even when consultants give probably many of you will go and work in many such firms. If you will be given a problem, you can't tell them, okay, let's do something, that big and huge that will involve the cost. Your expertise will lie if you can offer a solution with the same cost or existing or a very limited or a very, So you just can't, give them some concept which will incur a lot of cost. How are these consultants are paid? They are also paid by the margins of how much money are you able to save, right? Okay, please carry on.
Get a cap on a price and do some innovation. They can make the switchable water heaters, like they can work on solar panels also, and if the battery is not charged, they can switch it to some gas or some electricity also. Like this, they can innovate.
This is good.
and
This is good.
will,
This is good.
reduce the cost also and give them a different differentiation also.
Right, good. You want to add a point? Yes. Thank you, Beta. Thank you.
They can do some innovation on the solar panels where low amount of
Guys, what word did you not understand? If your classmate is here, you have to listen to that person. Please come. Yeah.
Ma'am, what they can do is with that same solar panel, they could do some process re-engineering or some innovation. With that same solar panel, little amount of light could give exactly the same amount of energy, because some areas they are too cloudy, the sun is not the same, but they can offer this as a competitive advantage with the same price.
Right. So thank you so much. Even in the exams, when you get certain case studies, you have to come up with innovative ideas, but at the same time, you need to ensure that the cost is not increased. Now, group 3, what could be the potential sources of cost advantage if green tech opts for cost leadership. Sorry? आप इधर आ जाइए, माइक है ना, everybody could hear. And see, if somebody or someone of you have certain hesitation in coming here and talking, we are all, adults, we are all friends, we are not judging anyone. I have maintained this in every class. Whatever, if there's a language barrier, we will all work together and improve, right? So please don't feel any hesitation, because let this be an opportunity for us to, I have been a student myself. I have been called like this. I have also been threatened to come and speak, but then this is how, if you'll do one thing multiple times, when I used to be called, I used to be like, I should not be noticed by the faculty. I used to hide, right? But these are the times that we will work on our areas which require certain improvement. Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, as far as I observed from the above case study is we should use economics of scale concept.
Good. See, this is what the answer should be like. You have to use these things what we have learned in the class. It is not reading comprehension, story nahi aayi hai, ye case study hai, right? Yes, please carry on.
Ma'am, we can also use capital intensive when we can purchase a technology या hire or franchise any technology. It will help to reduce the labor intensive. That will also
Come
help to reduce.
Come here.
I try
It's
my
okay.
best.
No, very good. If I have to give points, I will give her 10 on 10. Everybody. See, this is how our answer should be, right? You have to use what we have learned. She used such good things that she has learned in the class. Yes, please carry on.
Ma'am, it will help to decrease in the prices of goods. And ma'am, we can also purchase low prices input with a high quality.
Okay.
For example, ma'am, we can purchase in the wholesale rate instead of retailing.
Right.
Or ma'am, we can also establish manufacturing warehouse which are nearby to the markets as well as the other.
I'm so proud of you.
Other areas where inputs are easily available.
Thank you so much. Thank you for 2 reasons. Thank you. Thank you so much. Now group 4. आइए sir. How can green tech differentiate its products in the eco-friendly appliance market?
तो हमारा क्वेश्चन ये है कि जो ग्रीन टेक है ये कैसे अपने को डिफरेंशिएट करेगा
Guys, now we will listen to him. Everyone. हाँ.
तो हमारा क्वेश्चन ये है कि जो ग्रीन टेक है ये अपने को कैसे डिफरेंशिएट करेगा अपने प्रोडक्ट्स को. तो इसके लिए सबसे पहले तो ये हम लोग यूज़ कर सकते हैं कॉस्ट स्ट्रेटजीज को यूज़ कर सकते हैं ताकि हम अपनी कॉस्ट को कम से कम रख सकें. और साथ में हम डिफरेंशिएशन स्ट्रेटजीज को भी यूज़ करेंगे जैसे कि इनोवेशन को यूज़ करेंगे जिससे कि हम अपने प्रोडक्ट्स में और ज़्यादा नए फीचर्स ऐड कर सकें.
Correct.
जिससे कि हमारा जो प्रोडक्ट हो वो ज़्यादा यूज़र फ्रेंडली हो, मतलब यूज़र्स उसको ईजी टू यूज़ हो उनके लिए.
Correct.
जैसे कि उसमें हम फ़ोन से उसको यूज़ करना या टच स्क्रीन ऐसा कोई फंक्शन उसमें ऐड कर सकते हैं. इसके अलावा मैम हम जैसे इसमें था मार्केट सैचुरेशन हो गया है तो उसके लिए हम ब्लू ओशन स्ट्रेटजी यूज़ कर सकते हैं जैसे कि कुछ नई मार्केट्स में जाने के लिए कोशिश कर सकते हैं ताकि हम अपने प्रोडक्ट्स को नए लोगों तक पहुंचा सकें.
Very good.
इसके अलावा ब्रांड इमेजिंग के लिए हम वर्ड ऑफ माउथ प्रमोशन का यूज़ करेंगे. ये तभी हो पाएगा जब हम अपनी क्वालिटी को अच्छा रखेंगे तब इससे वर्ड ऑफ माउथ प्रमोशन होगा. साथ में हम किसी को ऐसे ब्रांड एम्बेसडर रख सकते हैं जिनकी जो पर्सनैलिटी वो इससे मैच करती हो. जो
Will it add to the cost? Brand ambassador comes with the cost, right?
हाँ तो अगर वो नहीं रखना तो वर्ड ऑफ माउथ प्रमोशन. इसके अलावा एक और है हम लोग कस्टमर सर्विस सेंटर ओपन कर सकते हैं.
Because whenever you'll get a case study. See, case studies क्या होते हैं? These are like the real life problems. When you'll start working, probably right now you're in 3rd sem, after 4th sem, and if you will start working right, you will get such problems. So at that time you need to be, so these are, it is sort of a rehearsal that we do through case study so that we have some tailor-made answers at that time. Yeah, please carry on.
इसके अलावा हम अपने कस्टमर सर्विस सेंटर ओपन कर सकते हैं ताकि अगर किसी को कोई प्रॉब्लम आती है तो हम कम से कम टाइम में उनकी प्रॉब्लम को सॉल्व कर सकें.
हाँ, good. Yeah. Chalo, what strategic moves could green tech make to create a blue ocean in the eco-friendly appliance industry? Abhi, this particular question is for everyone, right? So you tell me. What strategic moves could green tech make to create a blue ocean in the eco-friendly appliance industry? Bolo? Huh?
Well, they will, the green tech will go for the tier 2, tier 3 cities and create the awareness in the rural area for the solar energy because the electricity cut was very high in the rural area.
See, now, right now they are having, what are they manufacturing? Heaters. What if they do something on the lines of refrigeration? They can come up with refrigeration, right? So they will have a different product, right? This is how they can enter. Blue ocean not necessarily means you entering into a new market. It also means probably you're coming up with a new product in the already existing market. You want to share? Yeah, please.
I would like to add something.
Please do.
Recently, China is researching about some fire which can generate electricity through the friction between tires and the roads.
Right.
So I guess the major part we have been building roads and focusing on the infrastructure diseases. So if the company would innovate and like replicate the product China is producing, with great scope.
Right. And what else? So this is a question for everyone. What else?
We can also add eco-friendly inputs.
Solar powered curtains which can efficiently charge the batteries of our house so that they can be used in the power cut.
You want to add something?
They will go for tier 2, tier 3, cities where the electricity grid is very high.
Right.
So they can make a product which consumes less electricity and maybe the battery backup there.
Yeah. Good.
And
Good
the
point.
home appliance, those who have the need in this area,
Right.
then they will use it
You're
for
right.
the product market.
See, probably they can use the same technology as they're using for heater, for refrigeration, and probably for other appliances. They can give a bundling of products. If, for example, I have a team, I go and audit somebody's home that I will put this solar heater at your place. Probably while I am going with my team, I can offer them some other products as well. See, आपने हमें solar heater के लिए asked us to come, but we have this offering also. This is how you can push your other products, right? So there are many other ways that
It is
we
meant
can.
to be there because see, if a company is making a product which is meant to be utilized in winters only, what is the point of keeping your roof covered with the solar panels? You're not getting any benefit from that. So you need to have those appliances within your home which are going to be benefited from the solar panel itself throughout the year. Not just in the winter seasons. We don't need heater, water heater.
So that's what I'm saying. That's what I mentioned about the refrigeration part. Right, right. So that's what I mentioned about that. Not just heater, we can also have a refrigeration or maybe some product, maybe a mixer.
Companies which I have worked earlier,
Uh-huh.
so those companies used to be with have the corporate infrastructure all over around them, and they used to have all of their roofs covered with the solar panels. But they had I mean, they must be using it for the purpose of solar heater. Not how many liters can the whole company utilize in a one go. They do have systems for that, but after the winter season, when the winter season is not there, they have their charging infrastructure like up there. They have their let's say parking lights all the way running around the building.
So that's what we are saying, that whatever we are offering, we have to ensure, thank you so much, that we have to ensure that there is a higher operational efficiency. And we have,
We need to develop an ecosystem that connect the home appliances with some applications so that they can be used as a solar power.
so is there anyone who has their solar thing at their places?
I have done electronics and communication junior engineering. So I used to work with a company in this iPhone. So most of their things running in the company, which are running through that company was making production for a 24-hour clock. So they were running 3 batches. So the one which were running in the night were sustained by those charging points which were using which were storing energy
Right.
from the solar panels only. Like the parking lamps they had there, the fans, the very basic lights, all of those were using the same solar power.
Great.
So
So
the
I have,
company had everything in their brochure with them.
Okay.
So the company is so-called Supplier.
okay,
So
okay.
they are,
I
Supplier is
know.
offering everything which is powered by
Right.
these things, solar panels.
Correct. So you know thank you so much. So I have a brief work experience in which one of the organization that I worked in was into solar, and they were into solar parks. So they were not into basically into domestic, but they will have huge piece of land and they will have solar parks. So I personally have the solar setup at my place, and you know whatever electricity we use, that we use, but if there is anything extra that it can be sent through net metering, and the government pays us, right? So thank you so much for your time, for your attention.